team up with them for this event. Our topic for today's session, safety and risk management, best practices for operational excellence, is a very timely one, especially given the high risks and hazardous nature of our industry. And we're privileged to have a highly experienced expert in this field, Mr. Adebola Bada, the manager of safety operations with Total Energy, speak to us on this topic. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. Please, can we have the slide up? I don't know. He's sharing. I can no longer see the slide. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, next slide. All right, without any further delay, we'll be starting right away. But first, some ground rules. Kindly find a quiet place to participate in the meeting. And please turn off your mic and camera joining during the meeting. And if you have any questions or comments, you can use the chat box. And very importantly, do not multitask while participating in the meeting. For instance, if you are driving, please park in a safe place before joining in. Okay, so next slide, please. All right, we'll kickstart the event, but first, we'll have our section chairperson for the SP Port Harcourt section, Sir Abiye Pedro, give an opening remark. Sir, the floor is yours, please.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
So I'll be taking the opening remarks on behalf of our section chair. He's currently in a remote location and network is not so great where he is. I want to first of all thank everyone for joining this session. I want to thank our speaker, SD Adebola Bada, for agreeing to share his knowledge and wealth of experience on safety with us. I know that we are in for a very knowledgeable session. I also want to recognize our fellow SP sister section, that is the Uganda section. This collaboration would not have been possible without them. So thank you very much for agreeing to collaborate with us. As the title of the session says, that is safety. We are winding down to the end of the year and some companies will be celebrating injury-free time. But someone mentioned, I heard one time from one of the leaders in my company that when you start celebrating safety or like an injury-free time period per se, that's when you should be most careful because your guards are down, there is risk normalization, and that is the easiest time for you to have an incident, right? So we have come to the end of the year. Most of us were, for some companies, they're winding down on operations. For some IOCs, operations are still going on. But regardless, everyone is just relaxing because it's the end of the year. And that is the time for your guards to be up because safety doesn't give you a warning. Sorry, accidents do not give you a warning that, oh, I'm going to happen on XYZ day. Just like rapture, it can happen anytime. And if you're not prepared, you would have an incident on your hand, and hopefully it's not a fatality. So I want us to pay rapt attention. Safety is for everyone. Safety is not for a particular sect of people. It's not for HSC officers. It's not for the HSC manager. Safety is everyone's business because at the end of the day, we want, after coming to find our daily bread, quote unquote, you're going home safe to your family, right? So take this very seriously. I'm sure there is one or two you can pick out that you can take back to your offices or even in your personal lives. There are several tips that you will take back and to keep you safe. So once again, thank you all for joining the call and we look forward to a wonderful session.
All right, thank you very much. That was our YP chairperson for the SP Port Harcourt section, Manuela Agbo. Thank you for giving that opening remark. Next slide, please. Okay, to moderate this session is Mr. Andrew Kirunda. He's a drilling engineer with the China National Offshore Oil Corporation, and he's also the SP Uganda YP chairperson. As a dedicated and result-driven drilling engineer, Andrew Kirunda specializes in designing and overseeing drilling operations to ensure safety, efficiency, and cost effectiveness. His expertise lies in optimizing drilling processes, troubleshooting technical issues, and collaborating with multidisciplinary teams to achieve project goals. He's passionate about leveraging advanced drilling technologies and innovative techniques to enhance oil recovery and operational performance. In his current role as the Young Professional YP Chair for the SP Uganda section, he focuses on fostering leadership development and organizational growth within the YP community, contributing to the broader professional network. His career also spans key positions, including project engineer, QHS representative, and business development, allowing him to develop a versatile skill set across various facets of the energy sector. He holds multidisciplinary training and certifications in oil and gas engineering, electrical installations and maintenance, architectural design technology, and international health and safety, amongst others. This diverse expertise empowers him to approach challenges with a comprehensive, solution-oriented perspective while maintaining a strong commitment to advancing the energy industry. Please, if your hands are not busy, kindly use the clapping emoji to welcome the moderator, Mr. Andrew Kirunda, the SP chairperson of Uganda section. Andrew, over to you now. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Debbie. Please help me kindly confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you once again. Hello, everyone. I bring you all greetings from SPE Uganda section. As introduced, my name is Andrew Kirunda, and I'll be your moderator for this event today. And before we commence in a special way, allow me to recognize the presence of one of our senior members who is already here with us on the call from the SPE Uganda section. That is Mr. Gideon Chibirige. He is the section chair for SPE Uganda section. Mr. Gideon, you're most welcome, and we're happy to have you on this event. I would also call upon my colleague, Manuela, to introduce or to recognize any senior members from Port Harcourt section. Manuela?
All right, thank you very much, Andrew. So, of course, we have our speaker. He was one time our section chairperson in the person of Adebola Bada. He's now one of our section directors. Then we have Nicholas. Nicholas is the team lead for the technical team lead for the YPs. We have Joshua Ate. Joshua Ate is the Young Professionals co-chair. Then I can see Israel Kennedy. Israel Kennedy is he sits on the board as the awards committee chairperson. Then there's Ofre Chizi. So Ofre Chizi is the treasurer of the Port Harcourt section. I can also see Mr. Sustainable. So Patrick Ezenachi, he is the assistant student affairs chairperson for SP Port Harcourt. He's the assistant student affairs chairperson for SP Port Harcourt. So that's it from my end. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Manuela. I believe many of our senior members will still be joining us along the course of the program. So next on our agenda Before we dive into the presentation, I would like to introduce to you all our esteemed speaker, Manager Adebola Bada. Manager Adebola holds a Bachelor's of Engineering degree in Petroleum Engineering from the University of Port Harcourt and a master's degree in Health, Safety and Environment Management from the prestigious Loughborough University in the UK. He is an outstanding energy professional who is currently serving as the Safety Operations Manager in the deep water assets of Total Energies, Nigeria. And he has a span of 26 years continuous experience in the oil and gas upstream business, with 6 years early career working with ExxonMobil. He is a senior member of SPE with more than 20 years of continuous membership, and he has participated in various SPE activities in many parts of the world. He has won service and professional awards at different levels in SPE and in other professional organizations. He has provided selfless service to the community at large and currently acting as a director for the Port Harcourt section, where he served as its chairman for the year 2020-2021 board, when the section actually won the coveted SPE International Presidential Outstanding Section Award. He has also served in various capacities at the SPENC, SPE Africa region, and SPE International. Recently, he was the SPENC NICE 2023 conference chair. He is a fellow of Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria, member of Nigerian Society of Engineers, and Council of the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, and he has written various technical papers. He is a vivid and passionate advocate of the boy and girl child education and development. He is also involved in mentoring science, technology, engineering, mathematics, SDG 2030, and leadership strategies. And today, he brings his extensive experience in operation safety to share with us. Let's get started. Please join me to welcome Manager Adebola Bada to give us the presentation. Over to you, Manager. So I'll stop sharing my screen and you can share your screen with us.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. I got it right?
Yes, Andrew.
Andrew Kirunda, did I get that pronunciation?
Perfect.
Okay. Okay. So good afternoon or good evening or good day, everyone, from wherever you're watching or listening all over the world. I'll just cue in into, Ella, I think you can put up my presentation if you have it, I think.
I already shared it with Nicholas. Kindly help.
Okay. So I'll cue in into what Ella said during when it was giving the speech on behalf of the section chair, when she said, you know, when you're sharing and when you're happy and when you're celebrating milestones, that is exactly the time that incident normally strike. And every one of us here will remember the Macondo in 2010. This is exactly what happened, because at the 2010 in April of Macondo, they were having 10,000 thereabouts or so of a lot of years already put on without a lost time injury. And in fact, the management was on site to celebrate that. In fact, if you watch the movie, which is even better than when you're reading it, if you watch the movie for the Macondo, you will see that it's at that point they gave the awards. It was at that point they were actually having issues when they were drilling, of course. And then they went around and they saw those drillers and they passed by them. And then, but they were just eager to give award and go. And in fact, they were the first people to leave anyway. So just to say, it's not actually that there is a kind of an issue regarding you celebrating. It's just that whatever celebration you have to have, you still have not to lose your guard. You don't have to lose your barriers and so on and so forth. I think that is a key word. So it's also good to celebrate so that we don't misappropriate that statement. So having said that, if I have my presentation, so I've been asked to deliver safety and risk management for operational excellence. My audience have been told I have students, I have young professionals, and that I have a senior members, so to speak. So you can, anytime I have this kind of presentation, it's very, very difficult for me because I have to think very, very well of the students who, of course, maybe have not even seen anything before regarding what we're talking about. Of course, most of the YP or some of the YP also may have seen or understand what we are saying, trying to jot down some things, a lot of questions. But we also have very engaging section from the members, you see, that have this experience. And of course, they want to also see some new things coming up in the industry all over the world. So you can see, so I'm going to harmonize the three together in this presentation. So try to flow with me. If there are questions, start putting them in the comment section, and then we'll see how it goes. Next slide. So I'll run through this very quickly. Operational excellence, I will try to focus on safety management, then I'll also focus on risk management separately, and I'll now integrate them together for the safety and the risk management, what it really means to integrate. I will give you some best practices all over the world, and then we'll conclude. And at that point, I also have some quiz for you just to test if you have some understanding of what I'm talking about. Next slide. So if you go to next slide, is there an issue? Put in on PowerPoint show so that you just have to be taken along. So basically the next one is introduction to operational excellence itself. So if we go to the next one. Okay, so but before I go into this, because I don't want to start very, very technical, if you can put it on the comment box for me, if you understand the basic definition, don't write too many sentences. I will just pick maybe the first 5 and 6, I will see it should be enough. If you can let me know the difference between hazard and risk. Just say hazard is this and risk is this, because I'll be talking a lot about those two things, and it defines the entire strategy of this thing we want to talk about, the integrating safety and risk management for operational excellence. So just put on the box what you think hazard means and what you think risk means. I'll be looking. Okay, hazard is anything that has the potential to cause harm. I like that definition, potential to cause harm. Yes, to people, you have to extend it, anything to cause harm to people, talk about the assets, talk about the environment, anything that can give you havoc. Okay, so it can be people, it can be assets, and the risk. And I also like this one from, who is this, Junior, says that risk is the likelihood or the probability that the hazard will actually cause harm, taking into account the severity and the exposure to the hazard. Not necessary to cause harm, it's just the likelihood and probability of the hazard to causing the harm. So I like that definition. Risk, likelihood of the hazard causing harm. Yes, simple enough by Joshua there. Yeah, so basically all these things are speaking into very good point. And then, okay, so who can now tell me what's now risk management? If we already know what the hazard means and we now know what risk means. So what is now risk management? Anyone, quickly? So all the definitions are correct in different ways. I like them. So what's now risk management? I like this one from, what is this? Roki Akombi. It says risk management is reducing the occurrence. Let me see what he wrote. It says reducing the occurrence of the hazard to alap. So I hope everybody knows what alap means, because this is what I'm saying. We have too many people and we have to balance it. We know what alap means. It's trying to reduce it to as low as reasonable, practicable. That is what it's trying to say. So that one has some experience. So it start giving you some acronyms now. Yes. So Rima is putting up contingency plans by Blessing Christian. It says putting up contingency plans. Wait, I like that. To ensure that accidents and incidents are avoided or minimized. I like that. So you can see various ways. I don't really have, how can I say, I don't really have a particular strategy of my definition. I like people just to understand it. I think that is the most important thing. So there is no good or right or bad. What it means is that how do you even understand what we're talking about? So you are trying to manage the hazard. Hazard is permanent at all times. Don't forget, it's always there. There's nothing you can do about it. But risk, now you are now weighing the consequences, you are weighing how it will happen, the probability, you see. And when you start weighing all those things, and then you are now managing everything to see that how do I reduce the risk as low that I can manage it. And of course, so most of the definitions there are correct. So you are introducing in controls, you are introducing in mitigations, and so on and so forth. Now, operational excellence in the whole of the business strategy itself is that you are now putting all these things into consideration consistently at all times. You can imagine. And that's why they always say that HSC operational excellence, it is a journey. It is never a destination. So you can never get to the end, but it's a journey. Try to enjoy the journey. Ensure that you are putting in every effort, everything, improvement plan as much as possible. And I think that is the most important thing, but there's no end, you see? So that's it. So you have to keep up at all times. So safety and risk management are also critical components, as I say here. So we have to look at safety and we have to look at the risk part of it, managing it together for us to have an operational excellence. And operational excellence for you can mean you want to have serious good output in your production. It can mean for you want to cut costs so that you have more money, of course, to invest in other, you see. So operational excellence is a lot of targets you have given to yourself, your vision, your company, what you want to achieve. So in achieving it, you have to manage the safety and the risk that you have. So this presentation basically will be covering bit by bit, and then we merge it when we get to the end. So I hope that suffices for a good introduction. Let's go next slide. Next slide. Let's try to be quick. Okay. So what do we mean by safety management? You see? So we have already defined what hazard means. You remember, we are saying it's potential to cause harm. Also, we are also looking at asset damage. We're also looking at the environment that is being polluted. We want to cover all these things, but there is much more to safety management. And there's a word, an acronym I normally like to use for you to remember without even looking at this number 1 to 5 that I've written. It's LIME. LIME, just the same LIME, LIME. So it defines anytime they say, what are the importance, what are the benefits of safety management, try to remember LIME. And basically what it's saying is that the L is basically the legal part. You see, because if you see that, you will see ensures compliance with regulations and so on. If you are not taking care of legal aspects in whatever business in energy industry, then you're going to suffer for it. Basically, you're going to start be having fines. It's going to be having so much costs regarding, and it's be going for judiciary and so on and so forth. You'll be in the court most of the time, and that ruins your business. You don't want your business to ruin. Then the I is the image. And that's why when we're doing risk assessment, most of the time, we are focusing more on the image of the company. When they start writing things in the press that is negative to your company, to what you are doing, it spoils everything. And nobody actually wants to have any association to do with those companies. And that is the I. The M is the moral, is the ethics. You know, so you have to have a very good ethics. You have to have a good moral standing in the society regarding your organization and whatever that you are doing. So you can see number 5 and say improve employee morale and productivity. So it's not even only the employee, even the shareholders, your partners and so on. You want to improve their morale, you know. And then the last one is E. And that one I use the term economics. So the economics is the money part. You want to enhance your production as much as possible. You want to have much more money also to pay for your staff. You want to increase their salaries. You know, you want to have money for your shareholders so that when you go out next time, they're going to give you more money. So we have the iceberg. You see the iceberg picture there. Everybody should be familiar with this. So we have the direct cost of managing business in safety management, and we have the indirect cost. The direct cost, according to if you remember Titanic, whatever you can see on the first surface is, in fact, maybe 1/10 of what is below. Is incredible. And what you are just seeing surface is that somebody gets injured, and what are you doing with that person? You're taking them to the hospital, you're treating them, the time to go to, all those ones are just small. But if you look at the indirect cost below, is unlimited. In fact, we can't finish it. Reduce productivity because someone gets also because you have spilled into the environment, loss of time, you start doing investigation, a lot of people are into that. Meanwhile, a lot of jobs are suffering, potential legal fees, equipment repair, negative publicity, damage to customer relationship. A lot of things are going on at the same time. All these ones is man hours, they are cost, a lot of things that you are doing at the same time. And this goes deeper into a company's issues. And that is why it's very important for us to understand the importance of safety management. So next slide. So we now have the key elements. The key elements of safety management. Normally, we're talking of the policies, we're talking of the training and education, we're talking of identifying, hazard identification, and of course, risk management. We are talking of incident reporting system, and of course, continuous improvement. Don't forget the other time I was mentioning continuous improvement, that HSE operational excellence is a journey. It is never a destination. So you don't ever get there, but enjoy it and ensure that you make the best of it. So that is where the improvement comes in. And that's why each year you see companies doing improvement plan. This is the essence, you see. And it's very important when you're looking at these key elements, you're also looking at the hierarchy of controls. So if you are doing anything that is relating to its continuous improvement or risk assessing anything, you want to look at what are the most important part for you. You understand? I mean, you cannot be putting barriers in something and you are considering, the first thing you are considering is the PPE. No, you cannot consider that. As an engineer, the first thing you are considering is, how do I eliminate these barriers? Instead of using electricity, why don't I use something that does not even use electricity? You see, I can use something that is not electricity dependent and I still have the work to be done. And then you cut off electrocution. So you are trying to eliminate these issues that can give you big events. You are substituting or any kind of engineering controls. And that's why when you do big projects for the energy industry, those are the first areas of the things you are doing in the first 2-3 years. It's a long time. To deal with all this, you must have eliminated many things so that when you actually start your execution or production, at that surface, you can now be managing using PPE. These are small things, procedural things, giving people training, and so on and so forth. But the main work is for you. When you cite a big issue that could lead to incidents, the first barrier is start thinking of, how do I even eliminate this hazard completely from the system? You see, how can I substitute it with another means? And how can I put in any engineering controls? Next slide. So same thing, don't forget, we just talked about safety management. So I don't want you to mix it up. We just talk about safety management. We talk about the importance, and we also talk about the key elements. Now we are moving into risk management. They're a bit different, and we'll explain later. So risk management is also trying to manage the risk. We have defined the risk the other time, and that's why I said we should define it. So everybody's at par, we understand what risk means, you see. But in all essence, you have this bow tie here, and I'm very sure you are familiar with this, where on one side we have threats. You have different kind of threats, we have different kind of issues, you have different kind of, as we say, hazard is always permanent. And then what do you try to do? You try to launch a lot of active prevention and controls as much as possible. But eventually, because of these hazards, maybe you didn't identify all of them. And that's why on site, they're always telling everybody, can you they give awards. Can you identify hazards, hazard hunting? Different companies call it different things. Because these things are so many and so permanent there that you have to encourage people to even report them so that management can also take action on them so that before they will cause harm, you see. So, but eventually when they cause harm, we have to also think in an engineering perspective to put in a lot of passive protection. And that's why when you see structures and so on and so forth, you will see some passive protection when there is fire, so that the passive protection can contain the fire so that it doesn't even go anywhere. Or maybe you're having a spill, a big spill, maybe it's contained and it doesn't go to the environment. So these are passive protection, and you put all these things in place and you start thinking of the consequences. So you start thinking of what will the damage you to do, how much more money you are going to spend to contain, and so on and so forth. So at one time that you are trying to prevent, you also are looking at the reactive side. How, in case it happens, how do I control it? So it's there are two things to do. So the importance of risk management is helping us to identify this risk, to develop strategies around them, and to ensure our business continuity, because we want to continue business, of course, and to protect our assets, of course, resources, and help us quickly to make decisions. Next slide. So there are key elements also to risk management. So the first thing is that you have to even be able to identify the risk. So, and you remember when we were giving the definitions last time, someone gave the definition. He said risk management is the process of identifying, assessing, mitigating potential risks that could impact on an organization, project, or individual. Exactly. From that definition, so basically you are just, the elements now is identification. Then you are trying to analyze it. because it's not all the risks that you have to now classify them by priority. Priority 1, priority 2, A, B, C, something like that. And then you have to now look at the very top risk. High risk, you have to look at those high risk. And then, so prioritization have to come in. So, and then we now have the risk evaluation, because you have to now evaluate them, of course. And then sometimes you can combine the evaluation with the treatment, quality control, and so on and so forth. Then before you continuously monitoring reviews and so on and so forth, bring in a code eye review, a third party consultancy, in-house, you know, and so on and so forth. You start looking at these things. And that is why each year you are always doing a management review. After your management review, you put up another improvement plan. And then the following year, you are looking again at all your improvement plan. What do we have to do? Where is the money? Because that is where your management comes in. They have to be a part of your management review, because they will decide if we have the money or not. So it's not for you to just be saying some things you see from your friend's company. They are using drones here. They are doing this. Do you think you have the money to do that? So maybe your company or management can say, okay, for this, maybe in the next 3 years, we can have money for this to do this, but can we have something reduced a bit that can, this is the budget we have that can use to do it. So as a typical engineer, you have to also be thinking of most of the time the cost. So don't just think, there's always a saying that they say, if you think safety is too expensive, try this or whatever. But what is very important is that we have to think all over the process. And we'll talk about that. And that is where we are saying we have to integrate safety and risk management. So we'll talk about that later. So next slide. So we have certain best practices in the industry that I just want to introduce you to. So in ensuring you do a very good safety management, you have to have certain best practices. Everything is not about procedures, policies, and so on and so forth. What is really important is also for you to understand what other people are doing. Even some universities are already doing, and maybe they need funding for it. So the company have to be all out there. So it's not just being too inclusive. You have to find a way as much as to be out there and to see what's going on and how you can also improve your own conditions in your company. So best practices that we have for safety management is development of safety culture. So everybody understand what safety culture is. So safety culture is basically when you have a shared belief and practices. It has to be, you are sharing it between your colleagues, the management, and so on, and with the contractors. Everybody have to be in the loop together to really understand, to be on the same page to how to do things. You see, it's very key. And of course, having a very comprehensive training program. So every company have their own style, but there are certain standards also that define certain training standards. If you are this, the kind of training you have to do. But in most cases, my advice, especially to my mentees, is to say your own plans, careers, and trainings in your hands. If you wait for a company to give you all the required training, I think you're just lying. So you have to also try as much as possible to map out to certain training for yourself to see where you are going. You have to have where you are also going. So it's not just waiting only, and it might not get to you on time as you think. So, or you can also drive your company towards that, you know, so because agenda of different companies differs, but if you drive them also towards that, they can still reason for you, and just because of you, they can also give other people those training. So conduct regular safety audits of course. So if you have not been conducting audits, this is for everybody, everybody. In fact, I have also I've been doing some things in the past years that we even put somebody like, you'll be so surprised, putting someone like a secretary, not even a technical person, like to accompany management to be part of an audit. And you'll be very surprised the kind of questions the secretary will be asking, because they don't know too much. So for them, they will just say, but what is this? And you say it is this. Then you say, what do you use it for? Why? And then they will start thinking, why are you? And then you start questioning yourself. Oh, that's right. I never thought of that. But for us professionals, you overlook so many things. And that's why sometimes also things happen. Because you have to bring new eyes, you have to bring new people, you have to bring people that does not even have anything to do too much with what you're doing to critique you. So be open and see what they are talking about, you see, and you can get an idea from there. Use of technology in safety monitoring, there's a lot of Internet of Things now, there's a lot of them. And honestly, I will employ you, if you're not into data analytics and so on, this is quite good. A lot of companies are using it now to solve a lot of issues that would have taken so much man hours, and this is solving them. And of course, there should be engagement of different kind of safety initiatives for your employees and people, for your contractors too, a lot of them. So there are different kind of initiatives just to bring people together to ensure that they look at the same issues, the safety issues that they have, what they are going to do. Try to make people to be involved. Toolbox meeting, for example, is almost meant for everybody. Don't let one particular person be the champion reading as if he's the only one. No, challenge people. Let them talk about whatever that they know that is relating to the job. You see, and from there, you'll be surprised that a lot of people have ideas. So encourage participation and put their initiatives. Don't just be asking people to giving you different initiatives. And you are not, even if it's a pen for a month, give them pen, whatever, spend some money, you know, and then everybody is happy. Everybody like gift. I have to tell you, I mean, from my experience in safety, whatever you give people is a gift. They just take it and they're happy. Now, we also have best practices for risk management. So it's basically almost the same thing to risk to safety management. So it's identifying and assessing the type of risk that we are talking about, because there are different kinds of risk. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
we can hear you now.
Okay, very important. I've had a presentation before. I think I was like 15 minutes into the presentation. I never knew they were not listening anymore. So since that, it taught me the good lesson that every time try to check out. Okay, and I'm happy some people are putting some things in the comment box. So that assures me people are listening. Okay, and also developing risk mitigation strategies. In the box the other time, I've seen someone also writing that you're identifying a risk. At the same time, you're also identifying the mitigations that you can use, because it's not every time you have the permanent remedial actions for your risk. Or for anything that could cause harm to you, to environment, and so on. But you are looking for certain strategies to mitigate it in the meantime, you see. So, and at the same time, you're also integrating your risk management into your business processes. So whatever the processes is, in fact, for me, there's no business you put me in that I cannot function. It doesn't have to be the energy industry. That is the beauty of risk safety and risk management, because they are talking about operational excellence. So whatever your operation is, you just need to tell me what your operation is. I need to understand your operation, and that's it. I run with it, and I can give you a very good operational excellence from that. So, and then of course we continue to monitor our risk as much as possible, because as I told you the other time, this is continuous improvement. And risk management nowadays is extremely important, and a lot of people are using it. Leverage so much on data and analytics. It's very, very key, I can tell you. Please. Next slide. Okay, so now we are now trying to integrate the safety and the risk management. So one thing I want you to remember, if you don't remember anything today, safety management is almost like dealing with occupational aspects of safety, in fact. It's an occupational stop. So you are not really dealing with something that is technological. You are not dealing with something that is of a serious high impact to either the asset or to the environment. So typical one is that you are just dealing with, it could be fatality, of course, someone dies, which is not, we don't expect that, but it still comes under the realm of safety management. So you are dealing with people, we are just trying to ensure that people are not injured, little things regarding the occupational parts, people are involved. And that is why, if you remember in the IOGP, if you know the IOGP, International Organization for the Gas, Oil and Gas Producers, you can check it out. And then the IOGP has, I think it's like 9 saving rules, life saving rules, something like that. And one of them is actually for you to ensure you are not in the line of fire and so on and so forth. So this deals basically with what safety management means. And at the same time, we also have the risk management. Also, IOGP defines it for process safety, things like that. So anything that requires like process safety is going towards risk management. You see? So there are two aspects to this, but now we have to combine both together, because you are looking at safety day to day. You are sending your guys to go to site. You are looking at your procedures. You are doing your daily jobs risk assessment. It's a good part, but it's a very routine part. You see? So if you're now looking at the process safety, you're looking at the risk management part, you are looking at high-risk situations. When you start looking at this part also, you are looking at what we call the technological risk. You see, and that is why when we have the Macondo, it's no more, this is not normal safety management anymore. So you are looking at big barriers. How do you protect your facilities not to have a big explosion, for example? That is risk. That is a big risk management side. So when you're integrating it, you're integrating, looking at both cultures at the same time and practices and leveraging on it and putting different experts on them. There are two different experts that have to work on them. And that is what, as managers, we are now looking at those two aspects and looking at those managing them for us and trying to discuss with them. And at the same time, looking at the vision and strategies of the company if we can sustain it. So sustainability too is very key. You see my point. So we have to continuously review this, looking at then updating our plans to cope with the various safety and the risk side, and at the same time, encouraging our personnel to give us more initiatives. And that is where safety culture will come back again, because you always need the people to give you suggestions, because they are the one on site every time. They are the one working. They are the ones saying things. You cannot be in your office as manager. You are not there every time. So if you have to rely on them, you have to encourage them, you have to motivate them, you have to incentivize them, you see, and this is where all these awards in HSA comes from. You see, if you do enough, of course, it motivates the people to do more. So that is the integration part. Next slide. So leading safety practices to improve operational performances. I will just run through this quickly. So these are the leaders, safety practices that are really leading in the industry, require that will really help us. And this is where people that are really working in any of the energy industry, this will really help you. The first one is the ISO 45001. So I think your company have to really be looking into this to ensure that they are certified. You see, we have all kinds of third parties all over the world that can help you do that. You see, you also have to focus on your maintenance and asset management a lot. And that is where I
Okay, our speaker seems to be having an issue with his microphone.
Hello?
Yes, now you're
Okay.
back.
Sorry, there was an issue, yeah. And then, of course, so it's very good to have a licensed kind of what you'll be using to investigate your incidents is very important. And of course, all kinds of your fixed equipment, the inspection, and so on and so forth. It's very important to ascertain the integrity of your plant. Very, very key. So I even know that this is where asset management comes from, which is ISO 55001. But the fixed equipment and the inspection of it is even much more. Because these things are fixed, you have to ensure that you're looking at them every time. They have statutory requirement, for example, as much as possible to be looking at all these things. So next slide. Okay, so yeah, so I'm just continuing it. So we have also the process safety training, as I mentioned the other time. So for the occupational side, safety management is fine, but from the risk management side, you also, especially for all those your focused engineers that's really working on your on the risk management part, you need to give them adequate training. And there are a lot of trainings, specifically for process safety also that you can leverage on. The improving data capture also, it depends. If you are in the energy industry, you know, we have to deal with water. For me, I'm in deep offshore. So I have to focus a lot on my maritime operations. And I can tell you the kind of incidents that come from maritime operation is something else. And not to also talk of your technical logistics generally. You are talking of your flights, your helicopter. Recently, we had an helicopter that downed. I think it's from NNPC or something like that. You see, so these are the kind of major things you want to look at. So that is where the risk management comes in. You see, these are major. So you want to improve as much as possible your maritime operation, your air operations. So it's not only maritime. And of course, I bring this back again. It's a very good leading part, which is the data science and analytics for risk management. There is a lot of companies, ABS, and so on and so forth. They have different kinds of things. Different vendors all over the world can sell this to you. And of course, you know, when you start doing all this, you have to be careful for cybersecurity. So a lot of cost will be going to cybersecurity. So you need a lot of focus, training also for your staff regarding this and so on. And all these things is counting towards operational excellence. So you can see how everything is going together. Next slide. Hello. Am I on?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you,
hello,
sir.
you're on.
Okay. So that's it for this. So next, quickly.
Hello.
So for me,
Yeah.
in
Okay.
concluding,
Are you now seeing the last slide?
Yes, last slide. I'm done with it.
Good. Good. Actually, I'm already on the last slide. I don't know if you can see it on your end.
Oh, really? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So in concluding, before I now go to some practical scenarios, so you just stay on this, stay on the conclusion. Go back to the conclusion.
It's where we are right now, the conclusion.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So in concluding, it's just to mention that both safety and the risk management are key. And I'm very sure you've been able to understand the way that they interplay, and the most important things for you to do. It's very important for you to understand, for you to deploy the key elements. It's very important also to see the best practices going on all over the world and to use them. And don't forget cost, budget. Try as much as possible to rub minds during management reviews with your management to see the various aspects in your operation. So this is for all operations that you are doing, how it affects your operation. So for each year, you have to develop an HSC plan for your dedicated operation and to see how you want to eliminate all these issues that will not come and cause havoc for your business and that will put you out of business. So you want to take care of them as much as possible. And I've mentioned the legal aspect, the image, I've mentioned the moral and the ethics. I also mentioned the economics, which is, of course, the money part. So I will just basically ask the question if just stay on this, stay here, and I'll be asking my question, and then you can just put it in the box. So if we're talking about something regarding offshore platform fire, what are we going to use to manage that? Are we going to use the safety management, or we're going to use the risk management? Can you put it in the box? If we have an offshore platform fire, how can we start preventing that not to even happen? Of course, what if it happens? How can we ensure that it is prevented or recovered? Let me use the technical term, it's recovery, because maybe you can quickly recover it, it doesn't burn, and then you rescue it. So what can we do quickly? Okay, so someone says risk management here. So passive, active, fire protection, very good. So I like what Ronami Michael says. In fact, you are easily using what we said. So from the passive one, don't forget, it's more of risk management, I agree. From the active one, we are now going back to safety management. So you can see the interplay. At the end of the day, I would like you guys to remember that safety, you use safety management because also don't forget, you want to suppress the fire active on your own. You want to also try to do an incident investigation. You also want to do some evacuation of the people on time before the fire gets them while you are quenching. But at the same time, you also want to use risk management because you want to do a classical passive fire protection, as the guy says, you see. And at the same time, you want to put a lot of systems in place to recover those things before it gets burnt fully. And then you can still get back to business on time. So that's very good. The second one is that if you have a pipeline leak, what does this suggest? Are we looking at safety management, or we're talking of risk management? Pipeline leak. Pipeline leak. Anyone? Okay. Blessing Christian says yes. Risk management. Yes, dominantly, to be sincere with you, for leak management, or for leakage of pipelines, we will focus more, because it's a big one, I can tell you. So we'll focus more on risk management, a lot, because you can have leak and nothing is happening to the people eventually until it turns to a disaster, fire, and that is this risk management side. So let's focus more on risk management principles, the elements, and so on and so forth to deal with that. So if we're having like chemical exposure, what are we talking about? Chemical exposure. So what do we do immediately? For example, someone gets a splash of chemicals on his body, is trying to drill something, or they are trying to measure some chemicals, and then it splashes on them. How do we prevent it, or how do we recover the person? Okay, perfect. So I like what Rocky Akombi says. It says safety management to curtail, you see, the chemical containment. So that is key. There are others, there are other things you could do. For any other thing, Patrick says safety management, yeah. Actually, safety management is very dominant Not that you don't, because there are also some engineering controls that you can do for risk management, but safety management is very dominant. There's many things you can do. Medical attention, don't forget. The MSDS, you need to have them and you have to understand them, you see? So you really need to understand your MSDS. So the last one, yes, Frederick is asking, what of housekeeping? I agree with you. I agree with you. Housekeeping deals with many things anyway. It's a very general one. So the last one is natural disaster impact. What are we talking about? What are we going to use for recovery or for prevention or to mitigate? What are we going to use for natural disaster impact? Hello? Natural disaster impact. Okay, Blessing says risk management. Yes, risk management is very dominant in this one. Very dominant. There is no further, if you have this kind of thing, you don't have too plenty time anymore for anything. So I agree with you. Risk management is very key for disaster preparedness. You have to have, for example, for drilling, you have a blowout preventer, BOCP, blowout contingency plan. It's very important. If you are in any of an energy industry, you are drilling or you are producing, ensure you have your blowout contingency plan handy is very important. So all these kind of things, and when it happens also, you want to address the situation, you want to ensure it is taken care of. Okay, BOP plan, yes, and so on. There's a lot of them. Even business continuity plan is also very key. Nicholas or Andrew, how many minutes do I still have to launch? I still have some quiz very quickly, if you allow me. I just posted the quiz. Did you see anything from your end?
Not yet. Did you put them in the chat room?
Hold on. Yes, I want to put it in the chat. It's easier that way. Okay, that was the first question, very quickly. So just put A, B, C, D as your answer. Okay, I'm happy. I'm saying only B. So everybody is understanding this thing. Very good. Yes, so here comes the second question. I'm happy again. It looks like everybody understood this. Good. Third question launching. Very good. I'm seeing all B's. Good. You guys have become you are now an HSC engineer. I can easily employ any one of you now. So I'm pasting the next one. Wow, you guys are very hot, eh? I hope the students are also part of this, because I hope it's not just only the guys working that is just blasting all these questions. Andrew, I hope it's not just only the
Yes.
members that it's just blasting this. We need
Yes, we
persuasion of the
also have,
students, eh?
yes, we have students part of it. The, the, the presentation was just so good and very
Okay, thank you.
elaborate.
The purpose of conducting a regular safety audit. It took time before the first person, Xiaomi, put something. Others, why did you hesitate in this one? Everybody hesitated. What is happening? The previous one, you were just going. Or I wasn't clear enough. Okay. But it's right, eh? But I saw only one person.
Have you
Okay.
posted did you post the question? I haven't seen the question on my side yet.
Yeah. What is the purpose of conducting regular safety audits? The guy say, hey, it's only one person.
The question is not yet in the chat, perhaps.
Oh, really?
I can't see it on my side. Yes.
Oh, really? They are answering it. It's there. They are answering it.
Oh.
Okay. Some people
No.
saw it, some people didn't see it. Okay. The question was, what's the purpose of conducting regular safety audits? Is there? Ah, I see. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I see why. Okay. Can you see this?
Perfect. Yes, perfect. It's now here.
Okay, so we all agree that we should integrate it. Okay, so thank you. So you are now part of the worldwide people that agrees that we have to integrate this. And you can be a champion of that in your company, eh? Okay. Okay, that's correct. Safety management only benefits the employees and have no impact on company's reputation. Rokiba convinces false, false, false. Well done, everyone. Well done. So I'm very sure you can always understand and execute this at your various companies. Continuous improvement is not necessary once the safety management is in place. Gloria says false. Joseph says false. Alfred says false. You guys don't want to miss. You don't want to miss any of my questions, huh? Okay. And the very last question. Okay, so thank you. So Andrew, you can roll it. I think I have, that's the end. Or can you go to the next, Andrew?
Okay, we're
Okay,
already on
next,
the
next,
next.
next, yes, next. We've done all this. Next. So I did all the, yeah. We've done this, finalized 10 questions. Everybody got 100%. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. I hope I did not spend too much of your 45 minutes you give me. Honestly, this training is a whole day if I want to give this training. Boxing it for 45 minutes is a lot of tax for me. And I'm very happy that you understood. You got all the questions correct. And these are, even at the professional level, these are the questions they're going to ask you, even in any job interview regarding safety and risk management. So well done, everybody. I appreciate and open to questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senior Adebola. We are really so grateful for such an insightful and very educative presentation that you've given it to us. Right now, we move into the questions. Colleagues on the call, if there is anyone with a question, perhaps there is something that you would want Mr. Adebola to shed more light on, or there is any HSE aspect that perhaps you might need clarity on, please feel free to ask. If you're not in position to speak, you can just drop your question in the chat. I will read it out and you'll receive your response. Those who can speak, feel free to raise your hands. Yes, we can begin with Akambi, sorry, I think I pronounced your name rightly. I just hope so. Akambi, please, you can unmute and ask your question. Akambi. Akambi is unable to unmute. Okay, please, you can type your question in the chat and I can read it out for you. The very first question we have in the chat is from Odwok. Odwok is asking, what is the most recognized process safety certification in the oil field?
Okay, so yes. So your question is good. At the same time, there's not really anything like most recognized, so to speak, from every part of the world. I think it is for the type of operations that you do, and then you'll find a suitable process safety certification for it. And that is why, in fact, we have so many of them. In fact, this is another presentation on its own. Maybe next time you want me to present all kinds of certification training for all the different categories of HSE operational aspects I can present. But the very simple one for me that is also accepted, besides the OSHA regulatory practices that is really accepted, is the one by NEBOSH. So NEBOSH is also doing a process safety training, which is good, which is very good, elementary, certified and accepted in many places in the world, in fact. So I think to start, you can start from there. And but there are also some process safety that is specific to certain vendors and also certain companies. So you have to also find the one that really adapts to your need. So you need to be careful also. But the NEBOSH is very good. I can tell you, it puts you on a very quick spot.
Thank you. The next question is from Omuno. He's asking, what are the most effective strategies for integrating mental health support into existing health, safety, and environment programs in high stress industries?
Okay, it's asking the integrating mental health support. Good. This is a another very good question. So nowadays, if you see, we have different parts to HSC. We have the health part. And so if we go to the health part, we have a lot of bringing in psychologists, bringing in different kind of authorities to do presentation, to also do one-on-one session with the team. And also each year when you're in some companies, when you're doing your your normal medical, they ask you some psychological question to really see if you are being too stressed at work or at home. They ask all kinds of questions, and it has a tool where you analyze all these questions and you see the level of mental health stability that the person is, or mental health that the person is. So it's very good. Companies are also really focusing now, but it's the health part, but which have to be integrated into the mainstream of HSC. So companies have to put this as part of their budget. This have to be really, really practiced. And so I agree that this have to be integrated into, because when you're encouraging people, motivating people, you also don't need them to be extremely stressed. You want them, that's why you're motivating them. You want them to be happy and you want that mental stability. So that is where we integrate it.
Thank you. The next question is from Rokib Kambi. Rokib asks, she says she's in a Bosch PSM certified, and she was inquiring how she could get an opportunity to implement her theoretical knowledge of safety in the oil and gas sector.
So if you have done the Bosch process safety management, honestly, you are in a very good start. You can, on LinkedIn, you can also check for me and send me, DM me. And then we can also take it from there. If you need some opportunities, as a volunteer to start doing some things, and then maybe that experience can take you to other places.
Thank you. Then the next one is from Blessing Christian. Blessing is asking what factors can be monitored to predict potential issues using data science.
Okay, so we have different kinds of analytics. So if you say the factors, it now depends on what you are looking at. It can be so many factors. It really depends on the type of operation. So the operation itself have to be able to identify, let me put it that way, to identify the factors that are critical to them, because the factors can be 100. For a reservoir engineer, for a driller or something, they want to look at pressure, they want to look at temperature, they want to look at volume, for example. For another kind of people, maybe they want to look at this, they want to look at that. So you have to itemize, first of all factors that is reasonable. You have to do this like a workshop, you see, and then from also all the data gathering that you guys are doing is from then you can narrow it down to your top 10 or 10% of your factors, and then you can now follow that, because you cannot follow all factors. It's too expensive, maybe not necessary sometimes. Some are very basically routine, so you want to really focus on that 20% that is the key one. It's not the very 80% that is not really like just supporting your business, but you are looking at that 20 major key ones, and that is where this comes in. Then you narrow it down, then those are the things you need to spend money on. All these things you have to be thinking about money. Sorry, because I manage money also, so I have to be thinking. So not just doing everything you think about. No, you have to be thinking too that what is my real priority.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. Then the next question is from Senior Joshua Atej. Joshua is asking what are the limitations of the matrix system for risk assessment?
Okay, so for matrix, if you are talking about the 6x6 or 4x4 or 3x3, whatever it is, we are basically talking about a quantitative risk assessment, in fact. So you are talking about consequences and how it marries with the probability, severity, and so on and so forth. I will not really say they have limitations. It really depends on how you have developed your tool to answer what you want. because tools are not static. You have to find a way to evolve them. And that's why I was talking about best practices the other time. There are several tools in the industries now with vendors that you can make use of. So I really don't believe in limitations. I always believe on improvement. So always look for what are the areas that my analytics is not capturing, that I can easily be able to know my top risk, very top risk that can cause me major hazard, major incidents. I want to know my tool. I want to know ALAP. I want to know as low as reasonable practical. I want to practicable. I want to know the low risk so that I will not bother myself too much and institutionalize that one and focus on the major risk where I'm just looking at this one once in a while. You see, so it's evolving, and I really don't see limitations in them. I really see a lot of improvement, and the more you even use this, and you will see that you can develop them more to do many things for you, in fact, from your lab to your very high risk. And then you can capture that area of the iris and focus on it in workshops, and to be really, you pieces them, and you set your mitigations, you set your recovery, and you set all these things will be in place. And that is where the bow tie also comes. So you can use a lot of tools, in fact, and that can really aid you. So don't see limitations, see improvement.
Okay, thank you so much for those wonderful responses. There are still some few questions in the chat, but for the interest of time, these questions will be captured, and we shall try to share the responses on the various SPA platforms. So at this point in time, the section chair for Port Harcourt section, Mr. Abiy Pedro, joined in, and he wants to extend his appreciation to the presenter. Mr. Abiy, please, you can unmute. The audience is yours.
Okay. Bangest, as we call him, that's the nickname of the presenter, as the Bada. I say a big thank you to you. Sorry, I'm unable to come in here earlier, and I'm also itching to go because I'm with my boss. We are going in from one meeting to the other, but I had the privilege of listening to you, and I feel I've missed. So please, you permit us to, as usual, keep this video in the archive for those who missed and who will want to take a lesson or two from it. Of course, one of the things we wanted to do in this board here is collaboration. So when I saw you wanted to do this for Uganda section, I was very happy. And I looked forward to coming in early enough, but I just could not. I actually have to walk away from an event so that I could come and thank you in person, and all of you who are here to listen and to learn. The idea for SP is that what one group knows, the other should know. And as I'm talking to you too, I'm actually doing the H aspect of the HSC. That's health. I'm taking a walk, and I'm also trying to organize events for my colleagues in the office since it is year end. So on this note, I want to say a big thank you to you and extend my thanks also to the section chair for Uganda, Idiom, for letting this event to hold. Thank you. So I'm saying thank you to you all for this opportunity, and especially to Bangest for doing this for us. I'll remain here for as long as I can, but I'm happy that I've had the privilege to say thank you to you and to encourage every other person. So Andrew, you can take over.
Okay, thank you so much, section chair for Port Harcourt section. You were well represented. I believe the section has really benefited a lot from this presentation. And for the colleagues whose questions were not responded to, it's our humble request that we take note of the questions. Those questions will be responded to using the various SPE platforms. So at this point in time, allow me ask all of you to join us, and we thank Mr. Adebola for the wonderful presentation. You can use the emojis to clap and appreciate Mr. Ade for the wonderful presentation. It has really been a very, very insightful presentation. Personally, I've learned a lot from it. And looking at the questions which have been asked in the chat, it actually communicates that the audience has also fully benefited from the presentation. So once again, thank you so much, Senior Adebola, for the presentation.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Okay. Now, before we drop, or before we move to the next item, I would like to ask all of us to turn on our videos while Senior Ade is still here with us, such that we can take some photos. Please, let's turn on our videos to take some group photos. Those who haven't yet turned on their videos, please, let's turn on our videos. Okay, I'll start with these. Let's try to put on some smiles. Okay, cheese.
We say SPE and then the response, cleaner energy.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So,
and I saw
SPE...
Gideon just came in. Gideon, the section chair for Uganda, just came in.
Yes,
My
let me try.
Appreciation to you for allowing this to be, Gideon. This is the Port Harcourt section chair.
Okay. SPE,
cleaner energy.
SPE,
cleaner energy.
Okay, just on the last screen, some people were missed out. Okay, let me just take the last one, then we can move right next to our item. All right, so that's done. Allow me to share my screen once again. Sorry, just a minute. Let's see. Okay. All right. So, having done with the photographs session, I also wanted to share something with you all. This is concerning SPE, and I would like to ask all the colleagues on the call, how many of us know about SPE? And those who know about SPE, what do you know about SPE? Well, to those who have joined us for the very first time, SPE is the biggest oil and gas professional body in the world. And it actually has a versatile set of members, ranging from students and recent graduates, young professionals. Young professionals, professionals who are already in the industry working, but at the age of below 35. So once you join the industry and you haven't yet exceeded 35 years of age, you are considered as a young professional. Many people ask that a lot, but I hope it's clear. Then we've also got senior professionals, just like from our presenter, Senior Adebola. He is among the senior professionals who actually coordinate a couple of activities, share knowledge, just as you've been seeing him sharing with us his knowledge, and very many others that we can actually always share into the presentations to come in the next few events. Then what are some of the membership benefits if you are a member to SPE? Do you know them? Well, there are quite many. We cannot list all of them, but here are some of them. SPE offers live technical events, just like the very previous one we are just concluding. SPE has got a strong industry network for leaders, peers, and mentors. So various students, recent graduates, and even young professionals, you stand chances of actually networking with senior professionals who can mentor you and help you take the right course of your career. Then in addition to that, SP has got enhanced industry knowledge. Well, many of us who are actually into the oil and gas industry, even those who are actually joining the oil and gas, even the students or the recent graduates, I want to let you know that if you are not using SPE1 Petro, then I don't know where you're getting your information that you're working with. But SPE1 Petro has got a very, very rich database. It has got very many publications, which cater for various disciplines, from drilling, production, reservoir engineering, and now they have moved into data science, machine learning, and very many others. So please, if you're not yet a member, you're missing out on a lot. Then we've also got a couple of networking events. These are always organized in the various sections. And I would also like to talk about the Africa Young Professionals Network. There are a couple of activities that are currently being organized. So please join in, not to miss out on these activities. Then SPE provides provide and receive mentoring. Yes, I've talked about that. Then free discounted access to educational resources. Yes, all SPE members have got a discount. Whenever you want to access a paper on the SPE portal, if you're a member, you've got a discount. So it becomes a very good deal for you to become a member. Then providing and receiving mentoring still. Yes, if you're a professional and you feel like you want to mentor some mentees, still there is a platform for you on SPE. And then also a lot of volunteering activities. So just as I said, there are quite a number of benefits that we can all leverage from SPE. All those who have joined us in today and they're not yet members, please, you're missing out on a lot. Feel free to join SPE. Joining SPE, it's really very, very easy and simple. You just need to go to their website, SPE. You can go to any browser and you type in spe.org/membership. They'll bring you a guide on how you can join for students, for professionals. And then there is also a sponsorship for students. For students, please don't get an excuse of not having money. There is a full sponsorship from Chevron, so you can become a member for free. So what are you waiting for? Then for the recent graduates, there is a 1-year allowance to keep your membership. And then for the professionals, the money is really, really very, very low. I would say it's very cheap, because if you're already working in the industry, the dollars which are charged to become an SPE member are really, really quite very few. Well, having gone through our membership drive, allow me to call upon one of my colleagues from Port Harcourt section to give us an announcement of the new coming events. Would that be Emanuela, or Nick, or Josh?
Okay, Andrew, I'll take that. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Josh, loud and clear.
Okay, fantastic. Once again, before I just give you an announcement, I'll once again thank able and amiable section director, engineer Adebola Bada. Thank you so much, sir, for making our time out of your schedule to have this very educative webinar. We're very grateful and we appreciate the fact that you're always supporting young professionals. First on my list here, as you can see, is skill-based training on Python fundamentals. This event will be coming up in January, from January 15th to January 18th. There's a little token of registration. Just as Andrew rightly mentioned, we always have discounts for members. And as you can see, discounted prices, and there is also early bird registration, which goes 15K, and that early bird registration elapses in 26th of December. So if you're very much interested in Python fundamentals, which is a very key programming language for data analytics, as Engineer Bada has earlier highlighted in his presentation, which can be applied in every facet of our discipline in oil and gas. This training is for you. We don't want to miss this. So I encourage every young professional and student member here present to register for this training and plan to attend. The next training that we'll be having, this one is actually happening from tomorrow, 13th to 14th of December this year, and it is about machine learning and generative AI professionals, a no-code approach. This one is a 2-day full training and it's going to be taken by a seasoned expert from a Cypher Crescent Limited. Cypher Crescent is one of the fastest growing technology-based company in Nigeria, and the resource person is quite vast and experienced in this field. So do well to register. You will see the registration link being posted across all our social media platforms. Find a way to register and be part of this training happening from tomorrow. 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow, and then 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. On Saturday. Thank you so much, Andrew. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Josh. Please don't miss out on these wonderful events. And just in addition to my colleague Josh, I would like to inform our audience that we have an SPE Africa region network, and there are a lot of activities which are in the pipeline. So just stay tuned, first by becoming a member or renewing your membership if at all it is expired, not to miss out on these activities, because there are quite a number of them as we enter into the year 2025. Okay, so next we are supposed to have our YP Energy Trivia. Manuela, will you be taking us through the trivia? Manuela or Nick?
All right, thank you very much, Andrew. I'll be the one handling it, Nicholas on the call. So quickly, let me share my screen and we get started. So during the presentation by the speaker, when he started the question and answer session, it was a little bit funny though, because some of our questions planned for today's quiz was already covered, at least to a very specific level. But that notwithstanding, I think we'll still be able to have fun going through them again in another manner, and also encountering some other aspect of risks and safety management. So please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, Nick, we can see your screen.
This is not what I have. Okay. All right. So for those interested in participating in quiz, I don't know why there's a sharp drop in participants. We were racking almost 60 to 70 participants, but we'll just have 31. For those on the call and want to participate in the quiz, here is the joining instructions. Visit www.menti.com and join using the code 81535761. Menti.com, join using the code 81535761.
Yes, Nick, we are all ready to play the quiz. Nick, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you.
Sorry, please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. Let's see how many people have joined. Okay, 6 players ready. We've given quite a reasonable amount of time for people to join the quiz. Okay, just 1 more minute, then we start. 6 players ready. You can join by visiting menti.com and join using the code 81535761. All right, I'll be a little bit fast on this one. So let's get started. So for question number 1, remember, answer fast to get more points. What is the primary objective of risk management in the oil and gas industry? Maximizing profits, ensuring compliance with government regulations, minimizing operational uncertainties and hazards, improving public relations. Yeah, minimizing operational uncertainty and hazards. I remember speaker today, his primary objective was to protect the personnel, which is somewhat the same thing. All right, 7 players ready. Question number 2. Let's go. Which of the following is considered a proactive risk management approach? Root cause analysis after an incident, implementation of predictive maintenance systems, reporting safety violations, conducting post-incident safety drills. All right, proactive. You can't do after an incident. After an incident is no longer proactive. You need to do preventive or predictive. That's proactive, all right? So for question number 3, we have 8 players ready. Okay, let's go on. What does a bow tie analysis in risk management visually represent? A timeline of incidents, emergency response plans, an organizational hierarchy, or the relationship between hazards, controls, and potential consequences. Here we have a very high accuracy rate of this one. Okay, so for the 4th question today, 9 players ready. Let's go. Which international standard provides guidelines for occupational health and safety management systems? ISO 45001, ISO 14001, ISO 9001, ISO 26000. The speaker mentioned this today towards in his presentation. All right, ISO 45001 is correct. All right, let's check the leaderboard. Who is leading in the one first of 3 parts of this quiz? Okay, Rokabe is leading, followed by Ayu and Andrew K. Let's see if he'll be able to maintain his position. So for number 5, we have 10 players, 11 players ready. Okay, let's continue. In a risk matrix, what does a high likelihood combined with high impact signify? Is it acceptable risks, low priority risks, critical risks, or residual risks? High likelihood, high impact. High frequency, high consequence is a critical risk. Question number 6. All right, 10 players ready. Okay, let's go. Who is the 2025 SPA International President? Olivia Jose, Terry Palish, Medhat M. Kamal, Shaitan Tolia. Olivia Jose is the 2025 SPA International President, while Terry Palish is the 2024 SPA International President. So question number 7, how many players do we have? We have 9 players ready. Let's go. All right. What is the primary purpose of incident investigation? To assign blame for the incident, to develop a new procedure, to provide training on emergency response, to identify the root cause. Incident investigation, to identify the root cause. Then every other thing can spring up from there. Okay, for question number 8, we've come to 2/3 of this quiz. 10 players. Let's see what question number 8 is. What does the term residual risks signify in risk management framework? Risks identified but not yet mitigated, risks left after controls have been implemented, risks accepted due to low priority, risks that are unpredictable and unavoidable. Risks left after controls have been implemented. You can't totally eliminate risks, as our speaker said. It's a journey, not a destination. There's always room for continuous improvement. So it's after you implement all your mitigations, the residual risk is what is still left. That is left for further improvement. Thank you very much. Let's see who is leading. All right, Rokeb has moved from first to fourth. Andrew K has come up from third to second. Ronami, a new player, is taking first position. Let's see if for the final lap, what would happen. Okay, for question number 9, how many players we have? Okay, we have 9 players. Okay, let's go. What does the ALAP principle in risk management stands for? Everyone is supposed to answer this one correctly. Always limit all risk parameters, assess likelihood and risk prioritization as low as reasonably possible, avoid liability and risk penalties. Everyone has voted, okay? I expect 100%. Oh, wow. That was unexpected. Just 50% accuracy. Is okay? For question number 10, 9 players ready. Okay, let's go. Which risk assessment technique uses what-if scenarios to identify potential hazards in the system? Is it hazard identification, hazard, fault tree analysis, FTA, event tree analysis, ETA, or the bow tie analysis. What if scenarios? What if? Hazard has the answer, hazard identification. Okay. So the second to the last question for today. 9 players ready. What is the term for the process of restoring a contaminated site to its natural state? Is it mitigation? Is it restoration? Is it reclamation? Or is it remediation? EQC, environmental quality control, pollution. What is the term? Remediation is the term, not restoration. I guess restoration is somewhere a subset of remediation. Okay, so the last question for today, how many players we have? 10 players ready. Okay, so let's see. In quantitative risk analysis, what does the term risk exposure refer to? The total number of risks in the project, the combination of probability and potential impacts of a risk, the cost of implementing safety controls, or the duration of risk observation during operations. Risk exposure, what does it refer to? The combination of probability and potential impact of a risk. All right, thank you very much. We've come to the end of the quiz today. For the leaderboard, let's see who our winner is. Wow, what a comeback. What a nice comeback. After losing his position from first to fourth, he has been able to come back on the third lap to reclaim his position. Let's give it up for Rokem. Congrats. And we are glad to have someone as proficient in the art of risks and safety management to be with us. Yeah, nice to have you. Thank you very much, Rokem. All right, that'll be all for the quiz today. Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you, Nick, for taking us through the quiz. It was a very nice one, and I believe all the participants have enjoyed it. And congrats to Rakib. So lastly, we shall be having our closing remarks. And allow me to invite the section chair for SPE Uganda section, Mr. Gideon Kibirige, to give us the closing remarks. Mr. Gideon, the audience is all yours. Over to you.
Yes, thank you very much for allowing me to unmute. Thank you all very much for this wonderful YP webinar. I would like to first start by recognizing the presence of the chairperson of Port Harcourt, that is Sir Pedro. It's an honor to for us to work together as the Uganda section as well as the Port Harcourt section. I also want to recognize the presence of my brother Joshua. He was here with us. We made the Africa Regional Director together with Joshua. So I thank you very much for setting this up together with the entire team over there in Port Harcourt. I know you're doing great work. As the Uganda section, we are here to collaborate and work more and to contribute our share to the mission and vision of SPE, and that's why that's why we're working together at this YP webinar. I also want to thank very much Senior Adebola Bada for taking off the time to come in and share with us his excellent expertise on safety. Is very, very well aware. Like, for example, at Total Energies, we have this very common saying, safety for me, safety for you, and safety for all. So we put safety, first in each and everything that we do. And really, it has been just wonderful to go through this presentation with you and to basically learn from you in each and everything that we have discussed, really. And I think all the participants can attest to the fact that they have learned something new, and this webinar has not left them the same in terms of our strategy and things that we do within the safety business, especially for companies. So it's been an honor. to have the Port Harcourt section on this call. I'm very, very thankful to you all, as well as to my brother Andrew as well, who has been our moderator. Thank you very much for the good work that we're doing together, and we look forward to more of this. And with that, I don't want to take any further time. I would like to hand back to Andrew, but to close really with a very big vote of thanks for this wonderful technical session that we've held together. Thank you all, and have a lovely evening.
Okay, thank you so much, Chair Gideon, for the closing remarks. And this will mark the very end of our event. Many thanks to all of us who have stayed on the call up to now. And once again, don't miss the upcoming events. Stay tuned. For those whose membership has expired, please renew it. It always expires usually around this time, end of the year. So please renew it. And then for the new participants who have joined us the very first time, please don't forget to subscribe for your membership. Okay, so that will be all from my side. Over to you, Mr. Nicholas, our host.
All right. I don't think there's anything I have to say that hasn't been said already. Just good night, everyone. Have a lovely rest, and see us in our future events. Ciao.
Cheers.